Hello guys, TDC here. Quick clip. Let's talk about Dana White apologizing. Very rarely do you hear or see Dana White apologizing for anything. But on this case, he had to, and I want to share my thoughts on exactly what I think about it. Oh, good Lord, that was a tautology. Whatever. Anyway, let me get back to the point. So, leading up to UFC 305 at the pre-fight, one of the pre-fight press conferences leading up to UFC 305, Isreal Adesanya was trying to explain his beef with Dricus du Plessis, and in that beef, if you were paying attention, you would remember that Isreal said one of the reasons he was angry with Dricus du Plessis is because du Plessis disrespected him, Francis Ngannou, and Kamaru Usman as the three African kings during their reign, their dominant reign in the UFC. Now, you guys know, if you looked at my previous videos, you know that I have my reservations about that beef between Dricus and Izzy, and I thought it was very manufactured, and I thought that storyline was just bullshit. However, during the promotion of UFC 305, a promotional video came out of the production team of the UFC, and in that video, there was a clip on Isreal Adesanya making that statement about the disrespect for the three African kings, and they blurred out Israel's, or rather they edited out Israel's mention of Francis Ngannou. And Israel noticed that, and then he pointed it out, he called it out subsequently. And in his call out, he mentioned that the UFC cannot erase history. They cannot distort history, because history played out for the whole world to see. Whether they like it or not, Francis Ngannou was a UFC heavyweight champion, and he defended his belt. He was never stripped of the belt. He had to vacate because they refused to re-sign with him. Now, Israel has a very valid point. Whether you like it or not, Kamaru Usman, Isreal Adesanya, and Francis Ngannou were the three dominant champions during their reign. I think Francis became a champion much later, but when you talk about Kamaru, Usman, and Izzy, those were really dominant reigns, and not just dominant reigns, they were very active champions, which is more than I can say for a lot of people, especially in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm talking, you know who I'm talking about. Let's not go into that. But you can't deny that history. You can't deny the fact that these guys went in there and put a stamp on the sands of time. Now, Dana White, in a recent press conference, he was called out on this incident. And I saw the clip, and what made me laugh was Dana acted like he didn't know. Now, he claims he didn't know. He said maybe somebody on his editing team removed Francis's name on that clip because, you know, he talked so much shit about Francis that they didn't really know what direction, what direction to take when it comes to promoting the UFC 305 pay-per-view. Essentially, that's the crux of what he was saying. And I thought that was absolute bullshit. I thought so. Dana can't tell me he didn't know. I'd be very hard pressed to believe that. Now, you guys know I love Uncle Dana. I think Uncle Dana is one of the greatest, actually the greatest living fight promoter, probably of all time. But yeah, on this one, I'm going to have to disagree. I think Dana knew exactly what happened, but he says he doesn't, so let's take it on the face value that he didn't know. In any case, he called Isreal Adesanya after that press conference, and he apologized to Izzy. He also put out a statement where he explained what may have happened. I ain't buying it, Dana. I just want you to know I'm not buying it. But I think it's one of those cases where his PR people would have said, hey, throw this out there and let them take it to the bank. At least you made a statement on it rather than not talking about it, which probably would have looked very suspect from a PR perspective. It's still very suspect, just so you know. But I'm happy he apologized. I'm happy he acknowledges Francis's role in the UFC, especially in the UFC's heavyweight division. Since Francis left before Tom Aspinall, yeah, there wasn't really much happening in that division anyway. And you know my position on this, I'm not going to speak more about it, but I'm happy that Dana finally apologized. I really am. Yeah, Quick Clips TDC out.